next time you meet me in Gate City.
Oh, Cody Pope. I know Cody Pope.
Our friend is Cody and we not having a good day.
Smack dab in the middle of all that.
That was beautifully said. And I love that you said when you have a microphone in your hand.
And we were able to do it.
It's about just showing up.
What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Cody Central. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat already. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you're on YouTube or Facebook. We got an awesome episode in store for tonight. I'm going to run through all the usual gamut. Shout out to William, first one in the chat tonight. Shout out to my boy Ryan, who's always in the chat. Much love. First things first, I want to apologize to everybody for missing last week's episode. I had reached out to my guest that was scheduled that night, and I never got a response from them. And so it's tough to kind of like pull an episode out on the fly when you like prepare an interview and have all this stuff already ready. So we we, the Cody Central Production Company, aka me, decided to just scrap it so that it wasn't just an episode of me talking to you guys. But I know a bunch of people reached out, so we are going to try and figure out something in case that ever happens again so that I can still get on here every single Monday and rock with you guys. Shout out to Noah, who's watching from Boston on YouTube. Appreciate you. Hope you like and subscribe. We got all sorts of great content on the Hellhound Publishing channel. We are a record label based right here in Nashua, New Hampshire. So we've got podcasts, we've got music, we've got concert footage, we've got micro documentaries. We've got all sorts of cool stuff for you to check out. So make sure you hit that subscribe button sometime before the end of the night. Thank you to everybody that's here. I'm really excited to get into this episode. Let me get some music going real quick. Let me set the mood so we can all feel a little romantic here.
Oh, shit. Let's do it.
And here we go. So I'm going to start off. I have been playing the sponsor clips each week, and we did not have a sponsor for this week's episode. So if you're interested in sponsoring the episode, they're super, super affordable packages. They start at $25, and any donation will get you some sort of video clip made by me plugged into the show. If you check out previous episodes, you'll see photography by Ann Rova. You'll see the Schoolyard Pro YouTube channel. So if you have an event, if you have a service, if you have your own podcast, if you have a website, if you have a business, anything that you want to plug, please consider checking out hellhoundpublishing.com/Cody-Central. And we can work something out for super affordable prices. And all of that helps me keep the show going, helps me pay the live stream and server fees, studio rent, and better accommodations for our guests and better equipment, microphones, all that kind of stuff. So appreciate you guys. Much love. First things first, let's get into our music of the week. Since I missed last week's episode, I decided to do last week and this week's music pick. So for last week, this is a single track. It's from a band called Veneno. They're from New York City. The track is called Vicio. Just came out, I think, like last week, actually. Veneno is a three-piece band formed by current and former members of 45 Adapters, The Stance, the New York Hounds, who I've mentioned on the show a bunch, and a bunch of other punk and oi bands from New York and Boston. Their music really blends the best elements of 80s punk and oi with like a cool blend of post-punk. This song was really cool. It's just like super wavy and riffy, and it was just a cool thing to come up on. And I found out that they played around here recently and I missed it, so I'm definitely going to be looking out for them again. So that was Veneno on, if you find them on Spotify or whatever, it's Veneno NYC. Let me see if I have it queued up here. I'll show you guys. So this is what you're looking for. That first track right there is their brand new track. Check that out. If you're into like a cool experimental kind of sound, that'll be right up your alley. This week, I kind of went in a different direction, and I picked it's an album. It's called Baggage Claims from Daniel Son and Future Wave that just came out, I believe, this week. Baggage Claims is another mint collaboration in the catalog of Canadian street poet, one of Toronto's best rap talents, Daniel Son, and prolific independent producer Future Wave. They truly bring out the best in each other, pairing Daniel's water-smooth rhyme patterns and gritty approach to storytelling with Future's heavy-hitting, big-breathing drums and production. Daniel Son has a style that blends street storytelling and life lessons with a style and perspective that's far more unique than an average rap record. With 19 tracks going at almost 45 minutes, this project will definitely carry you on a nice ride. And yeah, so those were my music joints for this week. Let me know in the comments if you've listened to any of those already or if you're going to check any of them out. And as always, please check out Cody Pope wherever you listen to music. New Cody Pope and Byron G coming soon. This was our latest project. It's called Giant Steps in Gate City, available on all streaming platforms and a few remaining copies on CD at hellhoundpublishing.com. Oh, thank you. Ryan said they sound fire. Yeah. Really cool stuff I just found kind of just through skimming the web and stuff like that. Shout out to Ryan. He said love that album. He's definitely one of the first people to get into the Giant Steps in Gate City experiment. So, nice. And William's excited to check it all out. Hell yeah. That's what we love doing on this show. It's just getting people connected to the music, the movies, the events, all the stuff that is going to enrich their life a little bit, hopefully. I want to get into movie of the week now. So, movie of the week, this one's cool. I've been sitting on this for a little bit, admittedly. So, the movie of the week this week is The Grifters, which came out in 1990 and is directed by Stephen Frears. I got this as a blind buy during a recent Criterion sale, and I actually just got around to watching it this week. What a fun film this was. I would have been surprised if this sucked, to be fair, based on how many talented people were involved. Right away, just from like the opening of the movie, they have these really, really cool cinematography effects employed. There's a great contrast between like the subtle color palettes and these characters whose personalities are so colorful in contrast to that. The best part was that I couldn't really predict how it was going to play out. I kept trying to get ahead of it, and it kept me going. So that was one of those things. I love doing blind buys through Criterion because 9 times out of 10, it's just like something totally awesome and unexpected. And I would have never caught wind of that because I was literally born the year before it came out. So, it's cool to go back and find these things that, maybe they weren't the biggest top box office grossing movie of the year, but they've continued to have decades worth of impact. With that said, if you're into the movie side of stuff and you want to read more of like my movie reviews, see watch lists, things that I'm excited about, get in touch with other filmmakers and other film lovers who document their cinephilia, if you will. Letterboxd is an awesome app to use for that. I go on there and it's just strictly for movies, and I really find that it like enriches my movie experience because it's cool to be able to see what people's experiences are like, whether they saw something in film school 40 years ago or they just found it through some channel now. I've had a blast with it, and so I'm just going to take this moment to kind of share my Letterboxd and what you guys can do to get involved. Oh, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, Letterboxd is dope. I'm on there a lot. Check it out if you're into movies. with that said, let's get into our weekly show listings. I've been waiting to do this with you guys because we've got a bunch of stuff submitted to us and really excited to share this with you guys. Let me give you a second. You should grab a notebook, grab a pen or a pencil, get your notes app on your phone ready. Hopefully you're going to hear something that you want to go to and get tickets to or make plans with your friends to go and check out. And as always, if you have an event that you think we would be interested in sharing, please consider emailing us at codycentralshow@gmail.com. You can see the email address right there in the banner. If your event, even if it's not local to us, if it seems like something that we would support and want to attend, we will definitely plug it here in this show listing curation. With that said, I'm going to start running through these joints. All right. Let me open the comments too. You guys always hit me with the comments while I'm reading this shit. First things first. Every Sunday is Rap Night Manchester at the Shaskeen in Manchester, New Hampshire. Open ciphers and artist showcases for $5, 21 plus. It's been going on for 12 plus years now. Every single Sunday, do they rarely miss. Hosted by DJ Myth, Sean Caliber, and the one and only I9. If you're ever around the area, please go and check them out and support them. Also, every Thursday is the Laugh Attic upstairs at Strange Brew in Manchester, New Hampshire. It's a comedy open mic showcase hosted by Danny P., who was a previous guest on Cody Central. They bring through regional comedians, open micers. It's a great place to see comedy. If you ever want to test your water, it's a great place to test it out. Definitely encourage you to check that out every Thursday. Now, some upcoming shows. This Thursday, June 5th, a pioneer and iconoclast, both of legendary proportions, two hip-hop heavyweights, Lord Finesse and Immortal Technique, make their way to Boston for an unforgettable night downstairs at the Middle East in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Also that night on Thursday, June 5th, influential and innovative Baltimore hardcore act Turnstile premieres their new short film music visual at a limited theater engagement. Tickets are on sale now. When I was looking this up originally, the closest place was Regal Solomon Pond in Marlborough, Mass. But shout out to my boy Kevin. He actually texted me today and said it's going to be at the Brattle Theater in Boston area as well. So definitely encourage you to check that out. Turnstile is doing big things all the time. Saturday, June 7th is UFC 316, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley 2, and Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. So that's going to be a wild one after this weekend's stinker. Also on Saturday, June 7th, 90s ska stalwarts Save Ferris bring their unique ska pop punk stylings to Lowell, Mass at Taffeta Music Hall. Also on Saturday, June 7th, horror icon Ken Forey will be live in person for a screening of the legendary George A. Romero zombie film Dawn of the Dead, featuring a post-screening conversation at the Coolidge Corner Theater in Cambridge, Mass. Also on Saturday, June 7th, Volley, Cat TV, Basics Plus, and APE are taking over Kodo in Lowell, Massachusetts for a punk rock night at Mill City for Kodo Asian Fusion. Also that night, Saturday, June 7th, Riffs and Jams are taking over Terminus Underground in Nashua, New Hampshire when Earthmark, Populous, and more perform at Terminus. Thursday, June 12th, the wild California-based rock hybrid band that's messaging is as strong as its music is making their way to Lowell for a rare night of insanity and excitement. Fever 333 will be at Taffeta Music Hall. Friday, June 13th, the hilarious and brutally honest Midwestern stand-up comedian Jeffrey Osmus has two shows at the Music Hall in Portsmouth, New Hampshire this day. I implore you to go and check that out if you really want to laugh. Friday, June 13th, apocalyptic goth doom outfit Dead Harrison takes on day one of the two-day Rainbow Festival in Peabody, Massachusetts, alongside Degenerates of Punk, Basics Plus, and more. Saturday, June 14th, Converge, Cave In, and Defeater come together at the Brooklyn Monarch in Brooklyn, New York for a celebration of life show for legendary hardcore contributor Rich Hall, rest in peace. Also on Saturday, June 14th, the former pound for pound number one and former champion takes on the fast rising prospect at UFC Fight Night, Usman versus Buckley. Also on Saturday, June 14th, 90s New York hardcore heavyweights Sworn Enemy make their way to Connecticut alongside Pale Horse, Risk, and Soulless, who celebrate the release of their new album, My Friends, Your Enemies, all going down at The Zone in Waterbury, Connecticut. Thursday, June 19th, legendary hip-hop stalwart Rakim makes his way to Portland, Maine for a legendary night at Oxbow Brewing. Friday, June 20th, Sean Mitchell from Bali is hosting an artist reception at New Hampshire Underground, Terminus Underground in Nashua, New Hampshire. It's a free and public art exhibition for Sean of the punk band Bali. Saturday, June 21st, is Fourside Music Festival in Kittery, Maine, featuring Seth on Gray, Footings, and more. Goes on from noon to 9 p.m. in the Black Birch parking lot. Also on Saturday, June 21st, Connecticut hardcore legends Death Threat and one of Providence's most important bands, Product of Waste, come together at Alchemy in Providence. Rest in peace, T. Colin of Arabia will be singing for Product of Waste that night, so that is going to be a legendary night for sure. Also, Saturday, June 21st, rising light heavyweight prospect and title challenger, one of my favorite fighters of all time, Khalil Roundtree Jr., takes on former champ Jamal Hill at UFC Fight Night. Saturday, June 21st, one of the area's most acclaimed music acts sets off a wild night at the burgeoning DIY spot Terminus when The Whole Loaf, Paradise, and more come to rock. Thursday, June 26th, frequent Alchemist collaborator and Griselda Records Detroit native Boldy James brings his distinct hip-hop style to Boston's Brighton Music Hall. Friday, June 27th, New England punk and hardcore bands TFR and Pretty Ugly are going to be supporting Midwest heavy music act No Grave at Kodo in Lowell, Massachusetts. Saturday, June 28th, iconic Canadian post-rock group Godspeed You Black Emperor makes their return to Boston for a long overdue rescheduled performance featuring their avant-garde sonic and visual stage performance. Saturday, June 28th, one of the most influential and controversial rock bands of the early 2000s, Brand New, makes their long-awaited return to the stage at the DCU Center in Worcester, Massachusetts. Saturday, June 28th, the vacant lightweight title belt is up for grabs against former champs Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria at UFC 317. Saturday, June 28th, the day the Earth blew up, a Looney Tunes movie is having its streaming premiere. I know this one is random to mention, but hear me out. This is the first of multiple Warner Brothers features that were originally scrapped entirely for after they were completed for a tax write-off a few years back. Now another distribution company has stepped in and started purchasing the rights to all of these movies and getting them proper theater and streaming distribution. And so in order to show this company how much that we care that they're saving these movies, we got to just make sure that we show out when it matters. And if you didn't get to see it in its theater engagement, please give it a watch when it hits streaming. They've got other movies that they're already buying the rights to right now, and if you're me, hopefully they'll save Batgirl. Friday, July 11th, 90s emo legends Cap'n Jazz perform a rare show at Royale in Boston, Massachusetts. Also on Friday, July 11th, for one final time, Wu-Tang Clan's final tour comes to the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts with openers Run the Jewels. Saturday, July 12th, the return of one of New England's longest-standing technical metal groups, The Summoned, performing for the first time since 2023 in support of Cryptodira of Pendulum Records. That's going to be at Kodo in Lowell as well. Sunday, July 13th, the otherworldly TDE MC Ab-Soul brings his rare stage show back to Boston at Brighton Music Hall. Saturday, July 19th, the final fight from UFC legend Dustin Poirier taking on fellow legend Max Holloway in a historic third matchup at UFC 318. Wednesday, July 23rd, Oakland hip-hop legends Souls of Mischief, famous for tracks like 93 Till Infinity, make their way to Burlington, Vermont for a special night at Higher Ground. Thursday, July 24th, Catch New Hampshire-based guitarist and multi-instrumentalist Gary Smith performing live at Trenta in Wolfboro, New Hampshire from 6 to 9 p.m. Saturday, July 26th, Street Power record release show featuring Colin of Arabia, the Mongoloids, and more at the Middle East Downstairs in Cambridge. This show sold out once. It was originally at Sonia. It sold out. They moved it to the Middle East Downstairs to open up more tickets. Lock in now, see some gnarly hardcore bands, old and new alike, and celebrate the upcoming release of Me Time from Street Power. Saturday, July 26th, former UFC champ Robert Whittaker takes on former two-weight 1FC champ Rainier DeRitter at UFC Fight Night. Wednesday, July 30th, 2000s Brooklyn alternative indie rock giants TV on the Radio make their long-awaited return with a select limited run of shows that's hitting Roadrunner at Boston. Sunday, August 3rd, iconic hip-hop group De La Soul takes the stage at one of music's most notable gatherings, the Newport Jazz Fest in Newport, Rhode Island. Saturday, August 9th, legendary stand-up comedian Louis C.K. makes his way to Foxwoods for a special night of pure, raw, unadulterated comedy. Saturday, August 9th, That Motown Band performs hits from The Supremes, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, Smokey Robinson, Four Tops, and more live at the Park Theater in Jaffrey, New Hampshire. Saturday, August 16th, UFC 319 title fight between Dracus du Plessis and Hamzat Chimaev. Saturday, August 16th at Gino's in Portland, Maine, and Sunday, August 17th at Brighton Music Hall in Alston, legendary heavy Southern music icons Crowbar and I Hate God join together for a tour fans have craved for from the titans of low-tune heavy shit. Saturday, August 16th sees this historic tour hit Portland, Maine, and Boston, Mass. The next night on Sunday. This is going to be a friggin' weekend to remember, and if you die headbanging during it, it'll be worth it. Thursday, August 21st, 1980s Portsmouth, New Hampshire punk rock natives The Queers embark upon a stop at Taffeta Music Hall in historic Lowell, Massachusetts. Friday, August 22nd, iconic Massachusetts rock metal hybrid Cave-In celebrates 25 years of their album Jupiter with a full album performance at the Sinclair in Cambridge, Mass. Friday, August 22nd, Twin Peaks, A Conversation with the Stars at the Nashua Center for the Arts. The cast and crew of Twin Peaks featuring Ray Wise, Kimmy Robertson, Harry Goes, James Marshall, and executive producer Sabrina Sutherland are going to be at the Nashua Center for the Arts having a conversation live with the audience and talking about the history of the show and everything that came with it. Friday, August 29th, American industrial legends Nine Inch Nails embark upon a huge tour that stops at the TD Garden in Boston for the first time in a number of years. Saturday, August 30th is Hardcore Flea Volume 4 at Ralph's in Worcester, Mass. Free to attend, outdoor vendor marketplace and live music. Thursday, September 11th, John Cusack will be in person for a screening of High Fidelity with a post-show Q&A at the Music Hall in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Wednesday, September 17th, underground icon Billy Woods is going to be making his way to the Brighton Music Hall in Alston, Mass. Thursday, September 18th, late 80s New Jersey punk icons The Bouncing Souls are bringing their latest tour to Royale in Boston. Sunday, September 21st, Stop Making Sense 4K re-release screening at the Cabot Theater in Beverly, Mass. They're going to be screening the iconic film and doing a live Q&A with Talking Heads guitarist Jerry Harrison after the screening. Thursday, September 25th, absolute punk rock legend Iggy Pop takes the stage at Suffolk Downs and is joined by iconic 80s UK punk rock act Sex Pistols, featuring a mostly original lineup, I guess, with Frank Carter on vocals. But it'll be great to see Iggy Pop. Saturday, September 27th, Punk in the Park at the Palladium Outdoors in Worcester, Massachusetts. Bad Religion, Pennywise, Comeback Kid, Face to Face, Adolescence, and more are all going to be tearing it up in that super friggin' hot parking lot at the Palladium. Thursday, October 2nd, Three absolute titans of 90s hardcore come together for what is likely to be one of the most memorable and rare tours possible, with New York hardcore heavyweights Judge, the dark and evil metallic underlords Integrity, and the pioneers of straight edge hardcore Earth Crisis all together downstairs at the Middle East. Wednesday, October 15th, 90s emo and indie rock giants Modest Mouse take the stage in Boston at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway Park. Saturday, October 18th is officially Al Baril Day at Roadrunner in Boston, Massachusetts. Band announcements will be coming soon, but this will be an event to honor the legacy of Boston hardcore pioneer Al Baril of SSD, who recently passed away due to colon cancer. All proceeds from the show will benefit the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Follow at SSD Control Official for continuing updates on the announcements for all of that. Thursday, November 6th, late 70s punk icons GBH make their way to Alston for a memorable night of raw and aggressive in-your-face punk with no apologies. And lastly, Blissmas 25 at Buffalo River Works in Buffalo, New York. The crazy yearly festival that was formerly the Every Time I Die holiday show returns this year, featuring Glassjaw, Saves the Day, Terror, Onyx, Haywire, and more. Is going to be absolutely insane. Tickets are on sale now at Blissmas Co. And that is all of the shows for the event listing this week. I hope you heard something that you want to go to and get tickets to. If you have an event that you want to put in here, whether it's a show, a movie screening, a food truck, pop-up, it doesn't matter, a festival, a marketplace, anything like that, send your event listing for consideration to codycentralshow@gmail.com. With that said, I'm excited to get into the show. Tonight's guest is someone that I have been excited to talk shop with for a long time. He is a local independent creative, and he's also carved out his own path working in the film industry now. We met years ago along some musical creative segues, and now we're both into some more film heavy segues in life. I'm super excited and super interested to hear everything that he's been up to. And without further ado, please welcome my good buddy, Tyler LaPlant.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great, man. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, dude.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Chat, let me know if you can hear us both okay. I got Tyler live in studio with me here.
What's going on?
Dude, I'm stoked to have you here.
Dude, I'm happy to be here. I know a few months ago I was supposed to come on, and then I got a gig, and then I was gone for like 6 weeks. So
yeah,
you know.
it's hard to pass up.
Yeah.
I definitely feel you on that. But hey, we made it happen, dude.
Dude, we're here.
Counts.
We're here.
So usually when I start the show and when I start like the Q&A portion, thank you. Everybody said, "Oh, nice. We got a lot of fans out here tonight."
Yeah, so I
had
to bite my tongue, but hi Jana, hi William, hi Noah.
Shout out to Cole. Shout out to Hayden.
Sweet. Oh, hey, there she is.
Shout out to Noah, who's been in here rocking with us. Shout out to William, who's been in here rocking with us.
William is the best. Yeah, I mean, all these guys are great. William, incredible producer, incredible editor, incredible filmmaker. I mean, he is just a joy to work with. All of my creative people, please drop your handles and stuff. Jana is an incredible filmmaker, producer, set designer,
in the chat.
Photographer. Noah is the best editor. He is fantastic. And as we talk throughout the night, these guys will definitely pop up more and more. And Peyton is my beautiful girlfriend. Hello, hi.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, good turnout so far. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate the support. For anybody that this is your first time tuning in, whenever we get to the interview portion, the Q&A is open as long as we're live tonight. If you guys have any questions for our guest, drop them in the chat. We're going to pick our favorite ones. We'll put them on screen and get them answered for you. Let's get into it. So usually when I start this, I like to get a quick glimpse of people's introduction to their craft or their lifestyle? Like, when did you first discover your interest or your passion? But I'm going in a little different direction here, because we met some years ago and you were pursuing music. You were doing songwriting and recording songs acoustically. And then I didn't see you for a bit of time. And the next time that we crossed paths, you were on this journey of working in the film industry as like a certified grip and going on different productions and shit. So tell me tell me where your interest in that came and how you started to find the path of getting involved, going from like thinking that you wanted to be a songwriter to being like, well, maybe I could work in the film industry, and now you're out here doing it.
So it's funny that you bring this up, because I look back, when I was a teenager, I was I got into playing guitar. I played it throughout like high school, really enjoyed it. I didn't really progress as far as I was hoping that I would. I mean, I'd practice a lot, and I realized that I am more of a music enjoyer than I am a music creator, which I think is probably the best path forward, was to get out of that as soon as possible. Man, I remember being like 16 or 17 years old, thinking that I had an understanding of like what I was doing, and I came to you to record like some covers and stuff, and you were like, yeah, you wanna try playing to a metronome? And I was like, and I was like, I realized, oh shit, I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing whatsoever. It's actually, that was kind of a turning point for me to realize, like, hey, maybe I don't want to be a musician. And then also, when I was in high school, I took a video production class, and it was a 2-year program. And I really, I just fell in love with being behind the camera. I really got into like watching movies like more critically, like as a teenager. So it was kind of the combination of like still wanting to be within the arts, but trying something different, and really getting a chance to make some wacky short films in high school, and figure out what that feels like, and how great that feels. It was really that was like kind of like a pivotal moment for me. I was like, okay, I'm much happier, writing, directing, getting into camera world, and eventually lighting, which is my main gig now. So but yeah, our recording session did play a semi-significant part. No, the embarrassment's on me, trust me. But yeah, I can trust those files have been lost for a long time. At least I hope so.
Dude, well, I love chat is popping already. And our first question from the chat says, Tyler, what films have had the most positive and most negative impacts on your life and perspective?
Oh, geez. Okay, so I remember, I was, gosh, I think it was like maybe 12 or 13 years old, and my aunt Amy, we were trying to find something to watch, and she's like, oh, have you ever seen this movie? And she, highlighted Kill Bill Volume 1. And I'm like, no, I've never seen this movie. Like, it's something I'd like totally never be allowed to see. She's like, oh, this is great. You'll love this. And I remember watching that movie, and it really really opened my eyes to like, wow, this is like a crazy art form. And, but I grew up watching so many movies. Another really influential movie for me, it's always like Soul Food Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi. I mean, absolutely. And as far as films that have had a negative impact on me, it's kind of funny. Probably some of the more let's say low budget and low quality productions that I've been on. Those hurt the bank account, they hurt the body, they hurt the soul a little bit. But I love it, and I will take those gigs gladly anyway. Thank you for the question, Will. Very good.
Yeah, that was awesome. I started laughing because he followed it up with Metro with. I'm hoping this will pop up here in a second. Metronomes are a lie sold to us by big time. Don't believe the propaganda the genre people sell you. Everyone is jazz, and we should behave as such. I love that. I'm here for it.
Oh
Speaking
man.
of jazz, Giant Steps in Gate City is a jazz reference, so go stream that somewhere. Man, so that's funny because that's kind of that's a good lead into what I wanted to ask you next. What was your approach to working in film for the first time? Like, how did you go and seek out like a paid gig on a film project?
So I am actually very extremely blessed because a lot of my big gigs have all just been luck, really just kind of random. Somebody who signed off really early on in the chat, my friend Jaina, her and my really dear friend and mentor, Victor Herman, they have these 2 short films that they both, Jaina wrote and directed a short film, Victor wrote and directed a short film. Jaina made Trauma Bond, and I was 19 years old, working on that movie. It was, I think, a 5-day shoot. It was a 40-minute short, and then a few months later, I got back with that creative team, and I worked on Woodshedding, which was Victor Herman's short that he wrote and directed, and neither of those gigs were paid, but that's totally fine because both of those people, Jaina and Victor, have been incredible friends, and I've worked with them so much, and they really kind of helped me. Helped introduce me to so many people that I'm still friends with now, 4 or 5 years ago. And, so really working on the short film circuit got me available to network with people. And then at that point, it would just be like, hey, I know you're starting up. Here's something. I can't take it if you're interested. And that's sort of how I got started. But yeah, it's been very, I feel like gambling, honestly. It's very luck of the draw, getting these sort of gigs, and I've been very, very fortunate so far.
So one thing that I thought was really cool that I've seen you post about is you've been very vocal about things like the worker strikes and things of that nature.
Yeah. And
you're involved in the IATSE. Can you explain a little bit to people that aren't familiar? Oh, look at this. Here we go.
I gotta rep the union, baby.
Can you explain a little bit to people what that's all about and how you got involved in that?
Yeah, so I didn't really know too much about the industry going in. I really learned on the job, and on film sets, there's several unions. There's unions for the Directors Guild of America, DGA. There's Screen Actors Guild. A lot of people know that one. That's for the actors. You have the Writers Guild, Producers Guild. I don't really count that as a real union. And then there's IATSE, which is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. So if you go to a concert, if you go to a theater, if you go watch a big budget movie, all those are, all the crew member, everybody from camera to makeup to lighting to art department, all the crew members are under IATSE. At least, on some movies, some movies are non-union, whatever. But yeah, so unions are really important. Something I really got involved with, the labor movement, meeting a lot of people through IATSE and realizing really how much labor unions have done for our country. So I got really, really involved with that, and I'm still really involved with that as much as I can be. So yeah, shout out Local 481, which is I'm a card-carrying member for almost 3 years now. So
I love that, dude. And so does the chat. love labor unions.
Yes, we do.
And I think that that's really important too. But if you can't, you don't have to like go deep into it. But just because we do have a lot of people that watch the show that
Sure.
come from all different like working backgrounds, and like have somebody as young as you involved in union work and creative work and simultaneously like forging a path for yourself. Can you explain to people what the importance is of having a labor union as like a creative arts
Oh yeah,
employee?
absolutely. Honestly, when you're on sets, you kind of have two extreme ends of the spectrum of people who will try to fuck you over. You have the ultra low budget where they don't have the money to keep things safe. They don't have the money to pay people properly. The food's awful. Like a lot of bad things can happen there. And then you have the like uber wealthy, big time movie sets where it's like they are just trying to scrounge as much money as possible and cut corners, whatever. Those, so pretty much unions, like you get represented at work. You have like if you have issues with people, you have an avenue of speaking out without necessarily losing your job. When you are working full time, I get essentially free healthcare, which is great. Obviously, I have a pension, 401k benefits, and then I'm also guaranteed, a decent rate when I am working. It can be really good money. Especially on ASA agreements, which is like the big budget movies that come into town, which we have several coming up. So I'm hoping for some work. Yeah.
I love that, dude. Thank you. I appreciate that, because that's one of those things that I feel like is going to come up more and more, especially like over these next some odd years. And like with the fast growth of the cannabis industry, that is a place where union discussion has already been happening. In music, obviously, union discussion has been happening for decades and decades. And so to have people that are actively involved and actively understanding can clearly communicate the importance of that is just like so crucial.
I actually want to speak up as far as like cannabis unions. So if you're working at a dispensary, if you hate working at a dispensary, call your local UFCW chapter or local. And so recently, my girlfriend Peyton, about a year ago, they organized and they signed cards and they finally ratified their agreement. So the like flagship Rise store in Drake, Massachusetts is now like a union pot shop, which is really great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they're making more money. They have representatives for them. Like it's not things are a little bit more cohesive. And they fought really hard for that. Peyton was on the bargaining team. So if you are at a big business that you hate working for, things can be better. You got to organize and you got to talk to people about how much you're making, and you got to do the work. And if we all do the work, we can we can be stronger together.
Absolutely, dude. I love that. That's like so much better than I was just excited to talk about movies.
No, dude. Well, yeah, I love how we got into like the pro labor side. Let's do it, man. I love that.
I'm all for it, dude. All right, but let's all right, so a couple of random things. You kind of tapped into it with the movie question, but I guess I want to go toward lighting. Lighting seems to be where you're kind of focusing your efforts right now, if I understand.
Yeah, maybe
where you're the most.
Well, yeah, so I mean that's what I do as far as paying the bills. I love being a grip. The big goal is to be writer director. Shocker, the young white guy in his 20s wants to be a writer director. But yeah, I mean I've been working in the grip department for a long time. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm sorry. What was your original question? I kind of
that's cool because I was getting to it. So that's kind of perfect for me. So that leads me to what my original question was. I was going to ask you if you if in doing lighting, if there was people in the industry that sort of like inspired you or influenced you or anything like that. But I guess if you're going in the direction of writing and directing as like your goal, then that's really what I'm interested in, is who are the writers and directors that really like strike a chord with you and that make you feel like oh shit, I want to do this.
So okay. Actually, you know what's funny is I wrote down like a list of like my most recent movies, and I feel like this is like a good time for this. Big one for me, Wim Wenders. Big Wim Wenders guy. Not even 2 days ago, I watched Paris, Texas. I cried like a baby, like a little baby boy, dude. I love that movie so much. Like, I wanna, I like a lot of different movies, but something that I'm a big sucker for. Like, I love Noah Baumbach. Squid and the Whale, Marriage Story, Barbie's fantastic, but like, if we're sticking more on the drama side, like, I'm a big drama guy, and I want to have things that are, that can go to deep levels, but are still wholesome. Are stories about people. Are stories about people, struggling, about people finding a way through. Another big, probably my number one my number one director that I've seen almost most of his movies now is Martin Scorsese. Scorsese is my big guy. I got to shout out to my fellow Italian American. I just watched Color of Money for the first time. Not my favorite Scorsese.
Yeah.
It's all right. But I mean, I've seen Goodfellas so many times. It's kind of bad, but that it's just his style, his work, his respect for the craft is something that I resonate with so much. And then in my personal life, I made a shout out before, but my good friend Victor Herman, he is, we get together like every couple of weeks, get really stoned, watch a couple of movies, and just talk about movies for like 3 hours.
Love that.
It's the best. It's like good for the soul. It's like cheaper than therapy. So, but yeah, I mean, he's a writer, director, producer, but he's like, he's like my big person that I look up to for, like, all right, what does an independent writer director look like, at our scale, like right now? And, the guy's writing every day. He's creative. He's watching good movies. He's not in here right now in the chat. No, it's fine. I'll yell at him later.
Somebody put his info in the chat so that everybody can go see some of his work.
He's an incredible director. He's got a great dance video out right now, and he's got Woodshedding, which is a phenomenal short film. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So all right, so people like you just said on your scale that are making features and things like that, where do you watch this stuff typically when it's released? Okay,
so it's kind of tough. A lot of the indies that I've worked on are currently doing their thing in the festival market.
Yeah.
So one of them that's doing really well right now, Shattered Ice. That was my first movie as a Best Boy grip on. That was a really, really great experience. It's a really great movie. So it's been going on in festivals like around the country, so you can try to find it. Right now, I think they're actually playing at the Chinese Theater out in LA. So that's really, really
That's
sick.
so cool.
Shout out to Erica and the rest of the producing team there. But the indie movies are tough. One of the indie movies that I worked on towards like the beginning of my career is a movie called Money Game, and that's on Tubi now. Which is like, I love Tubi. People love to talk shit about Tubi. I love Tubi. I would be honored to have my movie on Tubi. Like, it's great. You don't even have to put your email address in. Shout out Tubi. We're not sponsored, but we could be.
Yeah, maybe. I'm down.
So if you can, the idea, the big golden dream for the indie movies is go to Neon, go to A24, go to Fox Searchlight, and get your movie distributed there, or you find a home on one of the streaming sites if they buy it, whatever. It's really hard for indie movies to have theatrical runs, which is what, go see a movie that you wouldn't usually see in a theater, because that movie will now have a better chance of surviving. So that's the big goal for indies: get into the festivals, get into the theaters. Yeah.
Well, I will say, if there's any indie filmmakers out there who want to put some shit out on Blu-ray and DVD, come talk to your boy, because I would.
Oh, really?
I would love to get into that. I'm a huge, insane movie collector and physical media collector at large. Like, at my crib, I literally have another room that we call the library. That's just walls and shelves.
Oh
and
my
so
god!
it's like
Yes.
all my Blu-rays, all my cassettes, all my VHS, all my Laserdisc, all my vinyl, all my CDs, like all my books, magazines, comic books. Like, I've just been a sucker for that stuff my whole life. And us here at Hellhound, like, physical media is what kept this thing alive. Like, people always talk about, like, they're like, oh dude, like, I don't have a CD player anymore, like, blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, I can't tell you how many hundreds of CDs I've sold over the years that have kept the roof going, whether it was Vine Street, our old spot, or here at the undisclosed location. And like, CDs, books, zines, merch, all that stuff has, like, kept us afloat. And I would love to be involved in something where it's like a bunch of people made a movie and they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do with it now. And it's like, well, I know I'm down to fucking like I love Criterion.
Oh my god.
Like, I love Diabolic, Vinegar Syndrome. There's so many of these companies that are really, like, archiving and restoring and putting a whole different life and presentation to films that otherwise would have just, like, been in the dust in the past.
I recently, within the last 2 years, I got into collecting Blu-rays and stuff, because I was at a point where I was so used to certain movies being on streaming sites and then they just disappear, and I'm like, god damn it, I really, I'm like, what am I paying for? So I like it because it actually, buying physical media is a really good way to support the movies that you like. It's arguably the best way outside of seeing movies in the movie theater, which is really important. You should do that. But yeah, the physical media is something that I love. My goal is to get, like, a collection of, like, music videos that I've directed. I have a short that I'm doing hopefully this year, knock on wood. I can chat about that later. And then, whatever else, like, I'd love to, and have that together as, like, a Blu-ray or something, like, to sell. I think something like a Massachusetts, like collection of, like, shorts made in Mass or made in New England would be really cool, because you guys, people could sell that at festivals and stuff. I mean, obviously I'm not, like, an entertainment lawyer or whatever. I don't know, the logistics of everything like that, but, like, I mean, I would love to have something like that. That would be really great. And that's good to know too, because I was wondering if I would just have to burn that shit myself, but yeah.
I've looked into it just out of curiosity, and, like, there's so many places. There's places that'll do Blu-ray production runs. They'll do DVD production runs. Obviously, I found places that'll do VHS production runs. And so I just feel like, I'm like, dude, I want to get into that side of, like I miss when films had, like, bigger, like, theatrical releases too. Like, this is obviously, like, a silly reference, but I'm, like, I'm time traveling.
Sure, hit me.
When Star Wars Episode 1 came out, that was a big deal, dude. And I went to, I don't think it was AMC yet, but it was General Cinema in Tingsboro, where the AMC is now. Shout out to General Cinema, because it was way better. But dude, it was an event where, like, hundreds of people showed up. They had, like, vendors inside. They had a lightsaber contest going on inside that you could, like, win, like, Xbox prizes and, like, merch and shit like that. And me and my buddies had no idea. We just wanted to see the fucking movie.
That's so cool.
So I remember we took the city bus to the mall. Then we ran across the street to the movie theater, got in line. Then we found out all this stuff was happening. So we ran back over to the mall, went to KB Toy, bought friggin' lightsabers and then went back.
Hell
and It
yeah.
was just like such a vibe.
Oh,
And
dude.
we were like friggin' like 11 or 12 or something. But it was just like, dude, there were so many. For me, even like when the Dark Knight Rises came out,
Yep.
they did an event at the AMC in Nashua maybe, and they screened all 3 Nolan Batman movies
Very nice.
chronologically, and they'd give like an intermission between them. But that theater is at a mall, so you could literally like go out and get food from the food court,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
bring it back in, and they didn't care. And they had like a big Batman photo booth that you could like take pictures at, and like all this shit. And it's one of those things that as we kind of like went through the pandemic and the streaming age and all that, I don't see as many of those. I obviously can't say they're not happening, but
So the event I agree with you, because it's like I feel like Avengers Endgame kind of broke the event movie, because like that was like the biggest thing ever, and then all these production companies are trying to like throw out like something like really, really big. I think the last like 2, or well, I guess technically 3, but I'm gonna count the Barbenheimer phenomena as like a singular event. So like when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out, my friends and I, like, we made a whole day of it. Like, some people dressed up like, like this weird like mix between the two of like
That's
black
awesome.
hats and like pink. It was great. Like I made themed drinks and stuff like that, and we like tailgated in the parking lot between the shows, and it was a lot of fun. Like that felt like a big like event movie, like that. Both of them being released on the same day. I think the next like really big like event movie that, at least for me, was Dune 2, or like that was like, oh my god, like I remember seeing that. I took my brother, we saw it in IMAX. Theater was packed. It was incredible. But the best way I think to experience that like event feeling, dude, go to the Coolidge. I went there like a couple days ago. I saw the end of Evangelion, and it was a damn near like sold out
I
show.
would have cried during that.
Oh, dude, it was like, I got a little teary eyed. It's the end of Ava. If you know, you know. Anyway, so like, dude, that was great. They had 2 people who gave like, short little like speeches like before, and the crowd was getting riled up. Like, there was like, it was like a super, super diverse crowd. Like, it wasn't just like all just like anime dudes. Like,
But it was all people that love movies.
Yeah.
And love the experience
Yes.
of being in the theater.
and that was
There's no fair weather people at an event like
yes. It was really it was really great. And the Massachusetts film scene really has like that kind of special sparkle, because you'll go to these like smaller shows, and it's like, it's cool to be amongst the people like that. So the event movie, the feeling of the event movie, I think, is still there. You just gotta like look a little harder for it, at least. Yeah. But dude, I mean, Sinners, that was like another like event movie. Did you
Yeah.
see that?
I haven't yet.
Okay, I won't say anything. Like, I went into the
I'm
movie knowing
gonna-
nothing. Incredible. Oh my gosh. See Sinners if you haven't. You gotta go see Sinners. Just go see Sinners.
Dude, shout out to Peyton. She said Coolidge Corner Theater has so many amazing movie events, monthly themes. They're bringing theater events back. Absolutely. They have some of the most exciting curation. Oh, she said, and the employees are unionizing.
They're organizing. So
That's great.
they have like a website somewhere. I don't know what to shout out, but like, call Coolidge Corner, ask to talk to the manager, be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Send them emails. That's what we've been doing. So they were handing out, they were hand billing when we were there.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I know, we were like running late for the movie, and I was like, okay, I really want to help you guys out, but like I also really got to get seats.
I
So.
support you. Can I come back in
Yeah.
like 82 minutes?
Yeah, seriously, like it's a short movie. I promise. Oh man.
All right, a little off track here, but
Sure.
I gotta ask this for our buddy Scott. Scott is a OG of the chat. He wants to know what your favorite action movie is.
Okay, favorite action movie. Of all time? Okay, probably The Matrix. But of the last like 10 years, Everything Everywhere All at Once is
Yo.
phenomenal. I mean,
one of the most brilliant movies.
so great, so great. And Bullet Train, the Brad Pitt movie, that was so much fun. I don't know. I think it's still on Netflix, maybe. But like,
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that.
Dude, Bullet Train's great.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's like it's Brad Pitt is an assassin who's like laid back, trying his best not to kill people, and like he's on a bullet train and he's going to Tokyo, and that's the plot of the movie. I won't say much from there, but it's Bullet Train's great action movie.
Yeah, I love this guy William.
Oh, dude, he's great.
It better be Triple X.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay. So yeah, Triple X is. So I watched that. But William and I had a romantic evening where he cooked for me, and then we watched Triple X.
Yo,
and
so
I had never seen that movie.
Oh.
Wow, dude! If we're talking pure cinema, nothing like Triple X, man. You know.
And it's funny. Scott said Fast and the Furious 11 coming out in 2026. That is insane. How many movie franchises have 11?
Too much, dude.
That's
at this point, like I don't know.
What
Like,
are we doing?
Like Despicable Me is getting close to
Are we
probably
still
10
family?
movies. I don't know. It's crazy. I
Are
mean,
we still
Mission
getting
Impossible
11
has
movies
8
then?
movies now. Like eight missions that are obviously possible. You know,
Right.
like he can keep doing it each time. Like I don't know. I'm so over the franchise movies. Like with that being said, I cannot wait for the newest Karate Kid movie. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna go
Hell
see
yeah.
that. Dude, yeah, they're tying them together. They're tying the spin-off. They're tying the OG. You know, it's gonna make $1 billion. It'll be great.
Shout out to Kevin in the chat. Peyton has a question that I definitely want to bring up. Let me just we got a bunch of comments that I scanned back from some. Oh, okay. So I'm bringing this back up just to a point that you made.
Sure.
Shout out to our boy Danny from Schoolyard Pro. He said, I remember seeing Jurassic Park and Aladdin, Lion King like 3 times in theaters. It would take forever for VHS releases. And so the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I wish I had like the video queued up, but there's this interview of Matt Damon. I think somebody caught him on like a red carpet or something. And they basically, it was in regards to how in 2024, the like top 10 grossing movies of the year were all like sequels or reboots or like pre-existing IP kind of shit.
Yeah.
And so they asked him like why studios like aren't taking a risk on like new properties and shit. And he said the death of the DVD was one of the biggest downfalls to the business of movies, because just like what Danny was saying, the movie would have like a 45-day theatrical run, and then all of a sudden it would disappear for 3 to 6 months, and then it would have an entirely new release day by coming out on home video.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have to gross all of your fucking budget back in that theatrical run. You had a second window to recoup all of your expenses and stuff. And most people most films had a better second life on home video than they did in the theaters.
That's how Good Will Hunting got. I mean, so you know what's funny is I was actually going to bring this interview up at some point, because like I but it's really fascinating you bring that up, because I watched that interview recently, and he's right, because Good Will Hunting, like, that became such a beloved movie because of the DVD release. You know, people they're like, oh, all right, I'll check this out. My girlfriend wanted to watch it. You watch it, you and your girlfriend are crying together, like, it's not your fault. Like, shut up, like, yeah, it's great. And that is something that like the streaming services have really fucked over, because these big companies, they'll give their movie off to the streaming services, and the studios and production companies are making money off of it, but the actual like individual residuals are kind of, they're dead. So it's like, it's kind of this vicious cycle of like, okay, I make a movie for X amount, sell it to the streaming services. I'm not making enough back after that. There's no like physical media. And then if there is, then it's like, okay, well, Netflix will get a chunk of change from that. And then it's like, the people actually making the movie don't receive that. Yeah. And then, I mean, this is like kind of like a radical thing, but it's like, there's never been any sort of like, payback for crew, payback for anybody else, it's always like the top brass, which like I understand, the writing, the directing, producing, whatever. Like I respect that. Like I understand why they receive those residuals, the actors and everything. But like hell, like we should, something I'd like to do eventually if I ever make it big is like try to have a distribution of funds made from the movie for the crew and everybody. Like it's just movies make a lot of money, and I feel like you gotta support the people making them. But no, you're absolutely right. The death of physical media release after has really hurt things. But like it's kind of interesting because like we do have Criterion super popular, A24 super popular, Neon super popular. So it's like there is still a market for physical media releases. Now I'm spending like $30 per Blu-ray for like a new release. It's crazy. So it's like they're still making money, but it's like the streaming has just taken over so much that it's like it's really just not an avenue that anybody's interested in anymore.
Yeah.
Like at least broad market. So
And it's just it seems, and we deal with this in music as well, where it's like the accessibility is also the curse, because there's such a lower barrier to entry when like nearly anybody can get a movie distributed on like Amazon Prime or something like that. It's like it's not like Amazon is buying your movie, but you can like submit it to them for streaming on there and like weird shit like that.
Yeah.
There's like kind of like I use like a music distribution company so that my stuff is on Spotify and iTunes and all that.
Right.
And there's like distribution companies like that for movies now, where it's like you pay a subscription through them and they'll platform it on X, Y, and Z. And it's just weird. And so the Blu-ray or the 4K or the DVD or the VHS or whatever it is was kind of like this movie was at least good enough, had enough qualifiers that we needed to make a physical version of it that will withstand the test of time, that people will own in their home.
Yeah.
And so like without that now, it's just kind of like we've all seen trailers that were better than the movie, And
trailers suck now.
Exactly.
Trailers are so bad. Trailers give off so much information.
Yeah.
It's like it's just I see a trailer and I'm like, okay, there's 3 things that should have been not in this so that it's interesting when I watch it. Like, I don't know. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm going to pull up Peyton's question here from a little bit back. She said, I have a question, if I may. What is one movie you thought you wouldn't like that exceeded your expectations and was great, and one movie you thought would be amazing that really let you down?
Oh, okay. So a movie that I thought was going to be amazing that like kind of let me down is like harsh, but like I didn't enjoy it, and it didn't click with me as much as I thought was Yorgos Lanthimos's I'm butchering his name, Kinds of Kindness, that came out last year. It was like one of my most anticipated movies of last year. I went and I saw it and I was so confused, but like not confused in like a good way, confused in like I really don't know how to break down what I just saw. Like it was a very hard, dense movie that is like hard to swallow. It's yeah. And I came off the back of Poor Things, and I loved Poor Things. I thought that was incredible. And then I see Kinds of Kindness, and I was like, what the hell? But a movie recently that I saw that I didn't think I was going to really enjoy that much, but like it ended up being great. It's a really early Jack Nicholson movie called The Last Detail. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a really great like simple, earnest drama about these like 2 like experienced I believe they're in the Army, Navy.
I think it's the Navy or something.
Yeah, it's
like,
okay. It's the Navy.
I remember it. Like,
yeah, they're in the Navy, and they have to take this other Navy member who like stole $40, and he's getting like an 8-year prison sentence. It's something ridiculous like that. And he's a young kid, and he hasn't like experienced like drinking or like hanging out, like whatever. So they have to take him like pretty much like across country. So it's like a road trip movie, coming of age sort of drama. and it's really great characters, like really like simple but effective cinematography. And the premise, I was like, okay, whatever, but I ended up watching and I was really engrossed by it. I really, really enjoyed The Last Detail. It's a great, great early Nicholson movie. Yeah.
That was like a random one I found on the Criterion channel at like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was just up and I was like, I'll check this out. And then I was like, damn, this was really good. Like,
Yeah.
good calls. Oh my god. William said it's a crime against culture that there's more Fast and Furious movies than Riddick movies. Yo, shout out to Pitch Black, dude. Straight up, I agree with that. Good point too. Danny from Schoolyard Pro said Blockbuster Video and mom and pop video stores had a lot to do with movies becoming cult favorites. It's like Grandma's Boy, dude.
Love
Grandma's
that
Boy
movie.
did dirt in theaters and then became a cult sensation on home movie.
I have something that's a little bit of a relic. I hope the camera will be able to see.
Dude.
But look at that. I'm gonna block the. Actually, no, that's an old number. It doesn't work anymore, dude. Circa 2007.
Dude, that's when mine is from
Blockbuster
too. I
card.
still have mine.
Yep, it was right next to Olivia's Pizza off Exit 8 in Nashua.
Yep, and we had one in South Nashua too. Right next to Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, and then we had like 2 local spots.
Video Mat.
Yep.
There's 2 Video Mats too. There was a Video Mat in South Nashua next to Sky Market, and then there was a Video Mat on Amherst Street in that weird parking lot near Rite Aid.
Yeah.
And then we had Video Thunder downtown for a long time too.
Yeah. So I actually so I was born 2001. But I have I know, I'm sorry. But I mean, I'm feeling old. My birthday was like 7 days ago, I think. So yeah, turned 24, dude. I'm looking at retirement homes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Dude. He said I'm looking at retirement homes.
But no, I was dang, I lost my train of thought. Oh well. Probably wasn't that important.
Well, while you think of it, William said, it might be interesting to see film deals in the future where studios hold streaming rights and directors, producers can own physical release strategies and use that to further compensate crews. Physical media might not be worth it to studios, but it might be nice if that money directly went to the people who made the movie happen. That is like a brilliant idea. To be like, look, if you don't care about the physical media rights, then let me have them. Like, let me create some revenue off of that and take care of the people that brought this fucking production to life. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, no, I love that. Williams,
Video Thunder.
Fantastic free thinker in the film world. Also a very super pro union guy, which we love around these parts. Oh man, what was I gonna say? I have stories from my New York experience. I did my first New York movie this past year. I'm wearing the t-shirt today. Shout out Pocket Dream. That's going to be hopefully honestly, dude, I think this is going to be like the indie darling that I work on. It's the script was really interesting. We had a really amazing cast and crew. It was just a great experience working on it, and it made me realize I gotta go move to New York City. I love Nashua and I love Boston, but I'm at a point where my soul felt so happy living and working in New York City that I'm like, there's nowhere else for me, at least for right now. And that was a really incredible movie. It's called Pocket Dream. For any Lars von Trier fans, the lead actress from Nymphomaniac Volume 1, Stacey Martin, she is one of the co-leads in this with Spike Fern, who was recently in Alien Romulus, and he was also in the indie hit After Sun. So they kind of, I'm not going to say too much because, I don't want to get in trouble, whatever. But we wrapped, we did 4 weeks in Long Island, 2.5 weeks in New York City. And it was just just an amazing experience, man. Like, you know, stealing shots on the street, you know, like, and then my off days, like I could just go. I was staying in Soho at this swanky ass hotel. And I went to the Comedy Cellar. I went to the IFC Center. You know, I saw John Turturro in like 2 blocks from my apartment, just walking around working on a movie. I was like, God damn, man! Like, you know, it was really a great experience. And actually, I just got confirmed for a feature that I'm starting in like 2 days. It's called Water Park Shark. It's from the director of the original Sharknado movie.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah, that's gonna be a fun one to add to the resume. So only 2 features so far this year, but I've done some music videos, 2 of which are out now. Flawed Mangoes. Oh gosh, I gotta look up the song. And the other song's in Spanish, so I'm definitely gonna look that one up. But yeah, really, you know, really interesting projects that I've been able to do. I've been doing some, you know, music video and stuff. A lot of music videos lately, which has been fun. So, yeah. What about you? How's music going, man? I've been talking a lot.
No, well, that's why you're here, talking about you. Peyton actually said, "So crazy to see you in a group selfie with Stacey Martin on Pocket Dream."
I do. I don't know if it's officially posted yet. But
one of
these days
it
will
like
be.
in the fucking queue waiting to get posted.
I will say, because it's not. So Spike Fern, he, you know, at certain times he has to drive in the story, and he doesn't have a driver's license. So there's actually several scenes where I wear his jacket. And like the hair department like put up my hair a little bit, so like it wasn't, you know, because my hair was a little bit longer, and like my shoulder might be in the movie, like driving the show car.
Let's go.
Yeah, but no, I did this music video. I was key grip on this music video for this band called Flawed Mangoes, and they came out with this song called Surreal, and they're a great Cambridge based band, like really up and coming, but like they have like, you know, great numbers on Spotify, like they're doing really well. And then I did this key grip for this other music video called please, I'm sorry about the pronunciation, Llloro by Lisi, which is now just dropped today. So I was key grip on that, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, dude, hit me up for music videos. Any of you music video people watching this, if you need any rappers, any artists, you know, love to make something happen, you know.
Yeah, we'll do. Rapper and artist. We'll do Joe. Okay, well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I got a couple more things for you before I set you free. We kind of talked about this a little bit, so you don't have to go too in depth. But what would you say are like maybe your top 3 or top 5 favorite movies?
It's really tough. Okay, Paris, Texas, Goodfellas, End of Evangelion. I love it. It's a crazy movie. Put in the Whale, and you know, I'm gonna end with my favorite movie that I've personally worked on, Challengers, which is a, you know, really fun, sexy tennis drama movie with like an outrageous score from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's a crazy movie, man. I highly recommend it.
Is that the Netflix joint with Zendaya?
Yeah, it's on Netflix,
okay.
But it had a theatrical release.
That's
yeah, man, that one was a lot of fun. I was only on for like 3 weeks, but you know, it was well worth it. I got the hoodie, so I'll take that.
That's how you know it's real.
Yeah.
Funny, dude, that you say that, because a homie of mine came over recently. I put him on to Nope, and I was like cracking myself up, being like, never thought in my adult life that I would be jealous of somebody's Scorpion King hoodie. But every time I see it, I'm like, damn, I kind of wish I had that. Like, it's like, I don't even like that movie. It's just a cool hoodie. Like,
Dude, I think Us gets slept on.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. And I have even like out of the Jordan Peele catalog, that's
Yeah.
the one I've given the least attention to, admittedly. So I can definitely like attest to that. That I saw it in theaters, and I think I just didn't like wholly grasp what was happening.
Fair enough, yeah.
Like that is definitely like you gotta rewatch it a couple times, and like there's like things that happen that really will like change the trajectory of your understanding.
I don't know if did you see Beau is Afraid?
No.
So I rewatched that recently. Like my girlfriend insisted on watching that, and that movie's not typically the type of thing that I would imagine that she goes for.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a very intense movie, and I remember like rewatching that. And there's so much that I missed. Like even on like, and it's a 3-hour long movie. I've watched it now 3 times, and it's like, yeah, you know, you gotta be committed.
Oh, Peyton said, and what were you doing on Challengers?
I was working as a rigging grip, so I do that as well. So for those of you who don't know, a grip essentially diffuses and shapes light. So if you see a shadow or colorful light or whatever, that's usually our department. The electricians will set the light and manage the levels in the light, and then the grip department will shape the light. Rigging grip department, we hang truss, we hang motors, very similar to stagehand work. We'll make blackout tents. On Challengers specifically, they would only call me when it was like 110 degrees outside, and they're like, "All right, let's get the new kid on the overhire list." So I was like, "All right, I was making my union days, so I was happily working, and I built me and my team, we built the benches and the like the stadium, or not stadium, the bleachers. That's it. Sorry, the bleachers that everybody sits on during like the final main like tennis match of Challengers. So like that was a real pain in the ass having to dig in the ground and level everything. And yeah, it was it was fun. It was a good time. It was really hot outside. Oh man.
So what would you and you kind of spoke on it before, but I guess you could maybe like give yourself a little more like finality, but like what would you say your ultimate goal in the film industry is?
I would like to be writing and directing features and music videos. I really enjoy music videos. I love being a grip. I love what I do, but I'm at a point in my life, my career, where I really want to be focusing heavily on my more creative side, and don't get me wrong, grip work is definitely an art form in itself, but it's very physically taxing. I mean, my days are anywhere from 12 hours to 16 hours long. That's not including how long it takes me to drive like to and from places, and it's a very socially and physically taxing job, and I'm at a point where I want something simple that I can pay my bills, I can write my scripts, I can network with people, and yeah. So the big dream is write and direct. I have a short film called My Night Out that I'm hopefully will be filming towards the end of this year. So that's that's a fun little 6-page fun little movie, and I have a feature called Cigarette Girl that I'm currently kind of formulating the plot in my head, and that's the goal, to try to do that sometime before I'm 30. But
I love that too.
yeah, we'll see, knock on wood.
I'm here for it. That's awesome. My final thing that I'm asking you is, I try to ask everybody this in a way that's like tailored to them, but what is one piece of advice that you would give people that is relative to something you want to work on?
I think I'm going to aim this towards people who are interested in getting into the film industry. Things are really tough right now. It's really bleak. I've started supplementing my work, doing like live events, concerts, galas, whatever, doing lighting for that in between film work. it's really tough. So you got to be ready to make sacrifices. You got to be ready to drop everything, and you got to want to be there, and you gotta love what you do. You have to be a little bit crazy. You got to hate yourself just a little bit to do what we do. But to the people who want to break out, stay creative, stay true to yourself. Watch movies. Don't go to film school. Work on movies, make movies with your friends, figure it out, and just find your people, because they are out there. And especially in New England, Massachusetts has a blossoming, beautiful film community. Short films, indies, big time features. When they come, please come. So yeah, if you want to make movies, please make movies.
I love that. That is awesome. And make sure, if you guys aren't already, you can follow Tyler on @TylerVideo27. Keep up with everything that he's working on. You're going to see him doing more things. You're going to see him doing bigger and better things. And if you want to have an awareness of what the New England film circuit is looking like, or things that could be happening, or recommendations and all of that, make sure you keep up with Tyler and everything he's got going on. Dude, thank you so much for pulling up tonight.
Thank you for
this was a blast
having me. And really quick, I just want to shout you out, guys. I got a whole tote bag. I got a poetry book. I got a sticker. I got some CDs with some beautiful, sweet music. Cody Pope is a lovely, handsome podcast guest. He's a great guy. Makes incredible music, and continue showing the love and the support.
Man.
Of course, thank you.
I appreciate that, dude. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate that. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Thank you to all the new people that came to Cody Central. Thank you to all the OGs that made time to tune in. Appreciate everybody keeping the chat going. If you're new here, please head over to Hellhound Publishing on YouTube and subscribe. We've got music, we've got podcasts, we've got micro documentaries, we've got podcasts about music, podcasts about movies. We got Hellhound Film Club. There's all sorts of stuff on the channel. A lot of it is curated by me and the wonderful team that we have at Hellhound Publishing. Appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. And until next time, see you next Monday. Preach.
Cody Central is written and produced by Cody Pope for Hellhound Publishing. If you'd like to sponsor the program and have your brand, podcast, or service featured, learn more about that today at www.hellhoundpublishing.com/Cody-Central. Additional ways to support the program include purchasing music, joining our Patreon for exclusive content, or simply donating at any of the links available in the QR codes above.
I certainly feel sorry for you.